Normally, EIS DMC-1 supplies the captain's PFD and ND. EIS DMC-2 supplies the first officer's PFD and ND. EIS DMC-3 is available as a backup. Let's see what happens if EIS DMC-1 should fail. For this exercise, you are the captain and you are the pilot flying. When EIS DMC-1 fails, the captain's PFD and ND are lost. Since you no longer have any information to safely fly the aircraft, you should hand over control to the first officer. You are now the pilot non-flying. Notice that both displays have a diagonal white line across them. The white lines indicate that the displays are working, but are not receiving any data. As soon as the ECAM system detects the failure of EIS DMC-1, you will get the normal alerts. You hear a single chime and see the master caution light. Cancel the master caution. So that you can carry out the ECAM procedure, we will bring up the lower part of the engine warning display and the switching panel for you. The ECAM procedure requires you to select position 3 on the EIS DMC switch located on the EIS DMC panel. Carry out the ECAM action. EIS DMC-3 will now supply information to the captain's PFD and ND. We can now complete the ECAM procedure. After confirmation from the other pilot, the EIS DMC fault message can be cleared. Clear EIS. The line on the engine warning display is cleared, and the status page is automatically called. There is a memo to tell you that the configuration of the switching panel is non-standard. Notice the inoperative EIS DMC-1 is shown in the status page. After review of the status page by both pilots, the ECAM procedure can be completed. Clear status. The cruise page is displayed on the lower ECAM screen, and the ECAM control panel has no lights on it. A boxed status message appears on the engine warning display to remind you that there is a message on the status page. This completes the procedure for an EIS DMC-1 fault. Normally, ECAM DMC-3 supplies both the engine warning display and system display. ECAM DMC-1 and 2 are available as backup. Let's see what happens if ECAM DMC-3 should fail. For this exercise, you are the captain and you are the pilot flying. When ECAM DMC-3 fails, both engine warning display and system display are lost. You no longer have any information to monitor the aircraft systems. Notice that both displays have a diagonal white line across them. The white lines indicate that the displays are working but are not receiving any data. As soon as the ECAM system detects the failure of ECAM DMC-3, you will get the normal alerts. But in the meantime, ECAM DMC-1 has automatically replaced ECAM DMC-3 in order to recover the system information as soon as possible. You hear a single chime and see the master caution light. Cancel the master caution. So that you can carry out the ECAM procedure, we will bring up the lower part of the engine warning display and the ECAM switching panel for you. The ECAM procedure requires you to confirm the automatic transfer by setting the ECAM DMC selector to position 1. Carry out the ECAM action. The controls are now in accordance with the system configuration. ECAM DMC1 supplies information to the engine warning display and system display. We can now complete the ECAM procedure. After confirmation from the other pilot, the EIS ECAM DMC fault message can be cleared. Clear EIS. The line on the engine warning display is cleared and the status page is automatically called. There is a memo to tell you that the configuration of the switching panel is non-standard. Notice the inoperative ECAM DMC3 is shown on the status page. After review of the status page by both pilots, the ECAM procedure can be completed. Clear status. The cruise page is displayed on the lower ECAM screen, and the ECAM control panel has no lights on it. A boxed status message appears on the engine warning display to remind you that there is a message on the status page. This completes the procedure for an ECAM DMC3 fault. If a single display unit fails, there are several ways that the EIS can be reconfigured to ensure that the pilots have all the information that they need. Let's look at several cases. If a PFD screen fails, the screen will blank. There is no white diagonal line since this is a screen failure, not a loss of data. Because the PFD has priority, the EIS will automatically transfer the PFD to the ND screen. If a navigation display fails, no automatic transfer takes place. If required, the PFD-ND transfer switch can be used to manually transfer navigation information to the PFD screen. Should a failure of the upper ECAM display screen occur, an automatic transfer of the engine warning display to the lower ECAM screen takes place. Like the PFD, the engine warning display has priority over the system display. System pages can be displayed by using the System key on the ECAM control panel. You have to push and hold a key to temporarily display a system page. While the system page is displayed, a white light illuminates on the key. Note, if a key is held down for more than 30 seconds, the engine warning display screen will be recalled automatically. This happens because the ECAM system assigns priority to the engine warning display. As soon as the key is released, the light goes out and the engine warning display reappears on the lower ECAM screen. If you need a system screen, you can transfer the system display to one of the ND screens using the ECAM ND system selector on the ECAM switching panel. Click on the ECAM ND system selector. By setting the ECAM ND system selector to First Officer, the system display has been transferred to the First Officer's navigation display screen. Notice that the ND is replaced by the system display. Normal selection of system pages is then available via the ECAM control panel. In the unlikely event that both ECAM displays fail, the ECAM ND system selector can be used to display the engine warning display on one of the navigation display units. Click on the ECAM ND System selector. As you can see, the first officer now has the engine warning display on his ND screen. If you need to look at a system page, this can be done by pressing and holding the related system page key on the ECAM control panel for a maximum of 30 seconds. As soon as the system key is released, the engine warning display returns and the light on the ECAM control panel is extinguished. When you are limited to a single ECAM screen, the handling of system malfunctions and how you are advised of failures is slightly different. For clarity, we will concentrate on the ECAM screen. If an advisory condition arises, the relevant system page is not automatically displayed. Instead, the light on the key for the system and a boxed advisory message on the engine warning display will pulse. If an ECAM warning or caution is triggered, then there will be no automatic display of the relevant system page. System pages should be called by manual selection on the ECAM control panel. To see this more clearly, let's look at a failure. We will only discuss the one ECAM screen and the selections on the ECAM control panel. You hear a single chime and see the master caution light. Cancel the master. No, to extinguish the master caution. When a failure is detected, ECAM will give the normal aural and visual indications. On the engine warning display, the failure message will be displayed and, on the ECAM control panel, the two clear keys will illuminate. As we are in single display mode, we will now concentrate on the left screen. By looking at the underlined system title, you can see which system needs to be viewed. In this example, the pressure page key should be selected and held on the ECAM control panel. The system page can be studied to provide more information about the failure and then the key released. The engine warning display returns and the ECAM actions can be carried out. We will do these actions for you. Now that the ECAM actions have been completed, only the failure title remains. To confirm what effect the actions had on the system, reselect the pressure page on the ECAM control panel. Call the ECAM pressure page. As before, the pressure page is displayed as long as the key is depressed. You can see on the system page that the overboard valve is partially open. As soon as the key is released, the engine warning display returns. To continue with ECAM, a clear key should be pressed to remove the failure message on the engine warning display. Clear vent. Normally, the status page would be displayed, but with only a single ECAM screen available, the status page must be manually selected. Notice that there is a boxed status symbol on the engine warning display. The status key should be held down and the status page reviewed. The status page can be displayed for up to 3 minutes before an automatic return to the engine warning display occurs. Once the review is complete, the key is released and the engine warning display returns. The ECAM procedure is now complete. There are no lights on the ECAM control panel. During the approach phase, there is no automatic call of the status page when flaps 1 is selected or when QNH is set. To remind the pilots to review status, the boxed status symbol on the engine warning display pulses. The status page should be selected as before. In this module, we have looked at various failures associated with the EIS. You will have the opportunity to practice the various failures during the simulator phase.